Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about how I got into UC Berkeley as an international student from England, because I think the acceptance rate is really low for international students. I don't know, that's what people always told me when I was there. I'm gonna check it now. It says that only about 1,500 freshmen are admitted from internationally. The school is massive. I mean, including postgraduates, I think there's about 40,000 people there, so it's not easy to get in as an international student. I don't really know how I got in, but I just thought, let's go through my essays, the things that you have to kind of submit as part of your application. Most of American universities use the Common App, which is a different type of application, but UC Berkeley has its own application where they ask you about 4 questions and you just need to answer those, as well as doing all your details and stuff. So let's just go through them, and I'll pick out why I think, looking now that I've graduated, why I think I got in, kind of thing. So okay. What would you say is your greatest talent or skill? How have you developed and demonstrated that talent over time? So playing tennis is my greatest talent, simply because I haven't willingly spent as much time on any aspect of my life. Training around 12 hours a week has allowed me to become a meticulous manager of my time, allowing me to combine my love for the game while still keeping up with my other hobbies. So in this first paragraph, I think when you talk about what your talent is, especially when you're going to go to this school where the academic workload is ridiculous, you've got to just intertwine. You can't just talk about how much you love your talent. You've got to talk about the skills that you've learned from it. And time management is crucial when you attend this school, otherwise you will die. So I think it's good that I slipped that in there. So carrying on. Personally, I've had an internal battle with the mental game of tennis and how I view myself and my opponent on court. Tennis can be a lonely sport, and when things are going badly, the only people that will listen and help is yourself. I've learned how to control my emotional state on court, even when my game isn't working as it does in practice, and also become more self-reliant. By retaining focus after every point and avoiding the distractions of my surroundings, I've been able to compete to my highest potential. Although this level of concentration is tiring and still doesn't achieve perfection, mentality has still remained a weak point that I have vigorously worked on, and my progress is displayed to me in the summer of 2016 when I reached the semi-final of the tournament, the highest standard of national tennis in the UK. So I think in this paragraph, I think it's good that I started off tackling my weaknesses, and I said that I battled, I feel lonely, I still struggle with my emotional state, it's tiring, but I finished it off with something that I succeeded with. So showing that I can persevere through something, I'm seemingly hardworking, and it all adds up. It's not just like I'm someone that can't achieve something. So I think it's good to act like a normal person and don't just put in all the good things. Show that you've struggled, show your weaknesses, and then show how you've kind of overcome those and how they've resulted in something good, because that's what they want. They know that you're going to struggle when you come in because it's just a complete step up. But if they know that you have the skills to kind of keep pushing forward, you'll be okay by the end of it. Okay. The skill set in tennis parallels with the perseverance required in daily life. Knowing there is rarely a quick fix solution to the problems has made me realise that hard work is required to get most things done. The efficiency needed to adapt to any situation is one of the most brutal yet essential parts of the game. It has aided me with the confidence in social situations and allowed me to accept my failures rapidly instead of lingering onto what they could have been. So I think this is another thing. With the talent, it's going to be really random things. It's going to be probably like a musical instrument, a sport, a language, something that isn't like tennis is so irrelevant to real life. You've got to show why, when you get put into the real world, when you graduate from Berkeley, why are you going to be good? Why are people going to want you? Well, I'm trying to show why my talent is useful. That's what you've got to show. So although successes are fulfilling, the effect the game has had on my mindset towards life is what I treasure the most. I have become a more mindful person, trying to improve the second time I attempt anything, instead of using the same method which has caused me to fail the first time around. So here I'm kind of just summarising it. I'm saying that it's not about tennis, like I said, it's about life, and that it's not necessarily just wanting to succeed, it's about what I've learned and how I think that will make me become a better student. Okay, so now on to the second question, which is about my favourite academic subject and how it has influenced me. So I'm actually a biology major. I graduated with molecular and cell biology, but I wrote about history. It doesn't matter because you come in undeclared most of the time anyway, so don't worry about what subject you pick. I picked history just because I thought it's the easiest to connect to real life, and that's kind of the mantra I'm following with my application. Try to connect it as much to real life and not the actual thing I'm speaking about. So when I'm speaking about tennis, I'm not actually speaking about being on court and the ball. I'm speaking about what are the transferable skills. So I think history has a lot of transferable skills, whilst although biology does too, I don't think it sounds as pretty as history does. So that's why I thought history was easy to write about. Anyway, let's go through it. I've always been interested in why prominent figures from the past have been able to take power and influence vast numbers of people. It can be difficult to understand the reason why this happens when the world has changed so drastically in a social, political, and economic context. Understanding people's priorities and struggles under Hitler's regime allowed me to dissect the reasons why they followed him and were perceptive to his propaganda and rhetoric. Seeing how it caused a huge shift in German and Western society of the time drew me into the depths of history. So, I think this is just quite a basic introduction. I don't think it's that special. I think I tried to slip in like an actual historical example, even though it's Hitler, it's the easiest one. It's what I was learning about at school at the time, so and currently with what is going on in the world and with the rise of these authoritarian leaders, I think it shows that you have an introspective mind if you're looking at history, trying to connect the dots between old right-wing parties and new right-wing parties. So that would work now, I think, as a really good thing. I don't know why it succeeded when I wrote it 4 years ago, but whatever. Patterns tend to unfold when we view current affairs through a historical lens, enabling us to contemplate the fundamental reasons as to why the world is being shaped how it is. For example, tolerance or lack of it when we consider national minorities and religious groups is still a problem today. The treatment of Muslims and African Americans reflects the treatment of Jews in Nazi Germany and ethnic minorities living under Alexander III in Russia. So once again, I gave a new example, which is a bit more niche, of the Tsar Alexander III, and this is huge for Berkeley. It's a very liberal school who take discrimination extremely heavily in the most left-wing university probably in America. If you can slip in something about this kind of thing, about tolerance, about minority inclusion, that would be great. They like that. I didn't know that when I was writing that, but now having attended, I mean, it's a good thing to write anyway. You want to be seen as someone that's accepting. So yeah, I think that's a good link that I made there that they must have liked. History not only provides a wealthy background of knowledge, it also allows me to be flexible in my interpretation of important events, making it easy to delve into topics passionately and consider multiple points of views. Critically and analysing the historian's view as well as my own has allowed me to become more confident of my opinions and open to new ones, which has proved to be a transferable skill in everyday life. Discussing important events from various perspectives has emphasised to me how difficult it is for a diverse range of people to be satisfied. This is shown to me through studying the effects of white supremacy in my dissertation on the civil rights movement, which emphasised the different and often polar opposite views that people possess. Again, America right now, the most polarised it's been. This fits right now as well. Bringing up the civil rights movement, which Berkeley was a huge hotspot for, very good. That I show awareness of kind of what the university has been involved in through, even though I didn't directly mention that. History was my least favourite subject until I was 15 years old, as I found it difficult to analyse sources and evaluate why each historian had such a different interpretation. However, now I appreciate the differences and allow them to influence my opinion and view of the past, present and future. I'm going to highlight the end bit just because I think it's always important to end on a 3. It sounds good. Like a dun, dun, and a dun. Again, I'm making myself sound human. I showed that I hated the subject, and I did, and then it became my favourite. It shows perseverance, it shows the ability to change one's mindset, because a lot of people are very stuck on, I don't like maths, I will never be good at it. But some people, you know, they have the ability to change, and that's what they want to see: flexibility, openness to new things and new ideas. So, okay, so for the third one, it is, what have you done to make your school or your community a better place? I always find the community ones the hardest, but let's see. So, the impact sport has had on my life is unimaginable, and seeing that there are so few affordable opportunities for kids to get involved in sport from a young age is disappointing. I wonder to myself how many talented and passionate kids are losing out on a crucial chance to get involved in something that will keep them healthy both physically and mentally. I learnt that families in my neighbourhood were interested in tennis sessions but were unable to go as the prices were too high. After this discovery, I was inspired to take some action and began to volunteer once a week to coach 10 young kids at my local tennis court for free. I mean, I don't think there's anything particularly special about this paragraph. I think that I mentioned both physical and mental health is important because that's something spoken a lot about at the university, and I'm sure many universities. At first, my intention was to create an environment where I could produce some potential talent while simultaneously incorporating social and fun activities. However, this proved to be an idealistic approach, as I forgot that young kids were only interested in running around and having fun with their friends. As a passionate and dedicated tennis player, it was difficult for me to comprehend why someone would not want to get a head start on something that I wish I had more time to get better at. I like this paragraph. Okay, so again, I'm showing that I made a mistake. I thought that it was gonna work and it didn't. And also I re-emphasized my love for my talent because I said I wish I had more time to get better at it, and that I want to improve so badly, and I have the opportunity to pass that on to someone else, but that someone else doesn't want it. So it shows understanding for different people's situations, it shows my mistakes, it shows my love for what I do. Yeah, so I like that paragraph. Volunteering proved to be an important realization as I could see that my transition from childhood to adulthood had occurred. I wasn't able to see the joy that children could experience in tennis without all the pressure that I had to include in my idea of what tennis entailed. Yes. I tried to enforce what I would want somebody to do for me now, but after the first 2 sessions, I realized that I was there to make the kids laugh and have an hour of fun with their friends, which was still a critical factor for maintaining their mental and physical well-being. I like that I mentioned that again. I like that I mentioned laughter and fun. I feel like with these applications, it's so easy to just be so serious, and there really is just no need. They know that you're gonna like having fun. It's human. Coaching the kids was a gratifying experience in which I got to know each of their personalities and how they like to be treated and praised, as well as support their parents in providing an affordable option for them to get some physical activity. Personable, speaks to parents and kids, free, doing it out of my heart. I think that's why that's good. Okay, the last one. So, describe how you have taken advantage of a significant education opportunity or worked to overcome an educational barrier you have faced. This one was tough. So, that's not how you say London, Jess. One of the first words a friend told me when I was 11 years old. Being brought up by a Turkish father and a Polish mother has proved to be challenging whilst growing up. Just state what you're going to be speaking about, like a title, so they know what they're going to be reading. A lot of the time they're going to be skimming through this stuff. Give them the intro so they understand the general idea. Don't get it confused and lots of paragraphs. Simple. As a young teenager, the last thing I wanted to be is different to my friends and people I look up to, who coincidentally were mostly all of English heritage. Sitting in English classes throughout high school was a daunting experience as I was never as successful as my English classmates. Their parents would help them write the top essays in the class, or help them find that perfect idea or metaphor that would boost their creative writing score. I envied this, as my parents could never help me in any of the subjects apart from math, as the terminology in English would be completely different to anything they had studied. Feeling sorry for myself, I carried on with this problem lingering behind me for the first few years of high school, as I was too afraid to speak to my teachers and raise my concerns. Eventually, my desire to succeed and enrich myself overrode my fear, and I began to embrace my unique background and use it to my advantage. Once again, struggle and success. By reaching out for support at school, my confidence increased as I realised that the only way to get better was to ask as many questions as possible, and that even if eyebrows were raised, I would benefit from it in the long run. Taking charge of my heritage allowed me to expand my education beyond the classroom and incorporate my experiences of staying in Turkey and Poland to current affairs such as the military coup in Turkey and abortion laws in Poland. Once again, slipping in a bit of current affair knowledge, why not? Show that you don't mind asking for help and that you can ask questions. They love that. You need to do that, and I didn't even do it when I was at university that much. It's so important, and it shows that you're a good student. If you know how to ask questions and you're not embarrassed of other people, if you're going to sit at the front of the lecture hall and if you're going to put your hand up, you're going to do the best. They want that. Something that I once thought was a restriction proved to be a huge force, allowing me to become independent and self-reliant. I'm grateful that these skills have been transferred to other aspects of my life so that I can thrive in anything that becomes of interest to me by using all resources available. Yeah, I mean, I think you guys get the gist. So that's it. And I know it's such cliche advice, but just make yourself sound not perfect, but make yourself sound like you started badly and then you came to perfection. That is the best way. And always slip in little bits of knowledge, like you know what's going on in the world. Like in that last question, I just slipped in some stuff about abortion laws and the coup in Turkey. So random, but it's like, oh, she knows what's going on. Okay. Also, exploit your differences. They love that. They love that. Research Berkeley. Find out, look into like Ann Coulter, Ben Shapiro, all the speeches that they've done, all the police that have had to be protected from these right-wing speakers. Look at the civil rights movement, look at Chavez, all these things that are connected to the university because they're also involved, and they'll love to hear that you know about that. So that's it. Thank you guys.